Hello, everybody. It's Ron and Hope Unfiltered, but however, this is not Ron.
Nope.
This is my friend Daniele Hage, and I am so happy you're with me
and
today.
I am so honored to be with you today.
Yes. We are going to sit here and bash men today. And no, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about how amazing they are.
Yes.
And how unique that God created them, how different we are.
Very different.
Yeah. But,
very different.
You know, a lot of times the reason we have so many relationship fails is because we don't have any understanding.
That's right.
We just don't have understanding. And Daniele, I have to just kind of toot your horn for a minute. Daniele has just kind of gone viral on Instagram and Reels. She's been studying relationships and men, been doing conferences for years, but your new podcast and your Reels has just really taken off. And just, I think just this morning, you had over 10 million views on one Reel.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
We are all shocked. We're like, wow, we must have touched a nerve here.
Yeah, right? So we're going to talk about some of those same things. You know, I've been married 33 years. How long have you been married?
43.
43. So we have 76 years
between us
combined.
Yes.
I think we can help somebody.
I think so.
What you think?
I think so.
We've learned some things. We've weathered some storms. We've made it.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Still here.
Haven't killed anybody.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
We're not dead. So we're just going to kind of try to help some of the women out there.
Yeah.
Just try to understand men a little better.
Right.
A little better. So talk to the listeners first about this reel.
Okay.
That went viral.
Okay. So in the reel, it's under a minute long. And I say men relate completely differently to their feelings than a woman relates to hers.
Okay,
so
that's
we're
easy.
Very different.
That's easy to accept, right? Okay, keep going.
And I just said that men, they don't really trust feelings. They trust facts.
Right.
It's about, if you want to get to know a man, you find out what he stands for, what it is he values, what facts he trusts. Women are more emotional.
No.
Men, right? Who knew?
No.
And this is this is not anything new, right? And men are more logical, and that's a good thing. But I think that's the reel that went viral. And I think the feedback that I've gotten is that men are saying, thank you for understanding us. And I asked my husband, we were talking earlier, I said, I don't think I realized, even though I've been talking about men for over 20 years, I didn't realize how misunderstood men feel by women. Like they're saying to me, I feel heard, I feel understood. And the thing that I thought was so amazing is that different men are saying, protect this woman at all costs. And I told my husband, I said, isn't that interesting? So when men feel like women get them, that women understand them, they're compelled to protect them.
That's so good.
I'm like, okay, women, this is what men are saying. And it's interesting because I'm getting pushback from the women.
Oh.
Getting pushback from them.
That's so funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about this at length. I said, but I do think, Daniele, I think the reason maybe because when you see something that triggers something on Instagram or anywhere on social media, you just start typing immediately. So you don't have the time or the luxury of the backstory and to say why I feel this way. And, you know, a lot of women are probably saying, well, he doesn't get me.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't know how he's treated me in the past. So I get all that.
Right.
But if we will stop and shut our mouths, ladies, and listen to what you were trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
Because you weren't attacking the woman.
No. I'm just saying we're different. That's it. It's like, and why, ladies, would you want to push back on understanding men? Because the men are saying, yes, this is 100% true. I'm more logical. Women are more emotional. Neither is good or bad or right or wrong.
Right.
They just are. It's not, I'm not saying women are bad for being emotional. And I'm not saying men don't feel. Men have feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Men have emotions. We are both married to very emotional men.
Yes, we are.
Very passionate men, very verbal men.
Yes.
So a lot of men, you know, their relationship to communication is to conceal, where a woman's is to reveal. Not so for our men. Our men are talkers.
Yes,
They're
are.
preachers.
They do that for a living.
Yes.
And it comes so natural.
Yes. And I am surrounded, my son, my husband, and my son-in-law are all very verbal men.
Yeah.
So it's not like no men are verbal or talkers or emotional. They all are
Right.
emotional. And everybody has their different degrees
That's true.
of emotion or logic. And you were saying earlier that you seem to be more of the logical one in your
Yes.
relationship at times,
Yeah,
right?
I can be.
Yeah, and me too.
Yeah.
I can be that way too because my husband
I'm like,
is...
hurry up and get to the point. I mean, this happened yesterday.
I
Ron
am-
was telling me
Yes.
something, but he had already said it, and he was
Yes.
rehearsing it.
Yes.
I don't know if Steve does this, but he will say it and say it again and go back and say it again,
Yes.
almost like a 3-point sermon.
Right.
Like, like he's talking to me, like he's giving me a sermon.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I've heard it. Next.
Next.
That's what I say. And he
Oh,
goes,
my gosh.
he doesn't like that.
Oh.
He wants to be able
Right,
to
to process it all the
and
way out.
express it all the way out.
Right.
So I'm having to sit there and count 1,000, 2 and be, Jesus, help me.
Well,
help
and
me.
I've seen the change in Steve and I learned this, that the reason that is it's about our hormones. Because as we get older, we become more single focused, more on the logical side. And as men age, they become more sensitive, more emotional. So
They become everything we prayed for early on in the marriage.
Right.
Then
And-
we've changed.
Yes, and we are both changing as we get older. And I've noticed my husband, he's more sentimental. He shows his emotions more,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
tend to be the one, give me the bottom line.
Yeah.
Just like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm turning into a man. And he's turning into a woman. It's like, I can see the changes.
Yeah.
And as men age, they get more, like they want to cuddle after sex more. Where
Yeah.
now women, and
We're like, I gotta go do the
now it's
laundry.
like, I got things to do, or I'm going to turn the TV now. And it used to be that exact opposite. So it's kind of cute.
It
just,
is.
That's
It
just how
is.
we're made. Again, it's not good or bad or right or wrong. Okay, I'm not saying women are bad or men are bad. We're different, and we need to accept those differences.
Yeah, I think though that you did hit a nerve.
Yeah.
On that
Yeah.
one reel, because you were almost an advocate.
Yeah.
For a man.
For the man. And that's what the men are speaking up, saying, thank you for speaking up for us. And
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, why is this such a big deal with the men? And I think they feel understood.
Yeah.
And I think women have a lot to learn about men so that we can understand, so we can accept, because women have a tendency to want to change men.
Yeah.
I always say that when a woman gets married, she looks at a man, or she's about to get married, she looks at a man, she looks him up and down, and says, okay, how much potential for change does he have?
Oh, that's okay. I'll change that
Yep.
about him.
I'll
change
get him
that.
to do his hair right.
Yeah.
I'll teach him how to dress.
Yeah.
I'll teach him some manners.
Yeah, right.
Right? And then men look at women, they think, I don't want her to ever change.
Right. Because
When they're getting
she's
married,
everything I ever wanted,
Yeah.
but then we do change.
Yeah, we do. We all change.
We do.
But I think for women, it's like it becomes a hindrance in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, like I've told my daughters, before they got married, or any young women, that, don't marry a man that you can't live with the way he is right now forever. If you
Yeah.
cannot live with him and you're not willing to accept who he is right now, because don't bank on him changing much.
No.
And yes, we grow and we evolve, of course, but he is who he is.
Right. And
So-
we are who we are.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's true.
But men don't try to change women as much as women try to
I
change
agree.
men.
I
yeah.
agree.
We're always trying to fix them, clean them up, get them to behave right, get them to act right.
Because Ron always says the big versions are only just stretched 8-year-olds. And we see that, and
Yeah.
we're wanting to change
Right.
certain things about them.
Yeah.
But, Ron still makes a mess when he eats. He still makes a mess when he's getting ready.
Yeah.
He still leaves
Yeah.
things laying in the floor.
Yeah.
And, I was
Right.
telling my daughter-in-law this the other day. I was saying, you've got to get to a place where you're like, I'm not going to stress out over these
Right.
things that drive me crazy.
Right. Pick your battles.
Yes, just
Is
let
worth
it go.
Right.
Just that
Right.
that Disney movie, Let It Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sing that a lot in my
Yeah.
head. Let
Yeah.
it go.
That's a great place to be in, to
It
let
is.
let the little things go. There's enough that we have to argue over. We don't have to nitpick the small
Right,
stuff.
absolutely.
And women, they can get nitpicky.
We can.
We can be very
We can.
nitpicky. I heard one therapist say one time, and I love this. I memorized it, and I say it all the time now. If it's not illegal, immoral,
Yeah.
or unethical, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
If you don't have to call a doctor, a lawyer, or a policeman, or a pastor, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Like, let's pick our battles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Danielle, we have some amazing sponsors for our podcast, and Chime is one of them. I don't know if you've heard about them, but they're amazing. Summer is the season of spending vacations, European trips, getting your kids ready for school, and it's already here. Do it right with Chime's online checking account. Chime's online checking account has tons of benefits that millions of members love, like fee-free overdraft up to $200, plus get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposits, all while managing your money on the go 24/7. That means more time and money for beach trips and summer Friday splurges. You can also pay friends through Chime, no matter what bank account they use, and cash out your money fee-free. Sign up for Chime today and make this summer the best one yet for yourself and your wallet. Get started at chime.com/Ron and Hope. That's chime.com/Ron and Hope. Banking Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or StrideRight N.A. Members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Access to direct deposits up to 2 days early depends on the timing of the submission of the payment file from the payer. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. We love you so much, Chime. You've been such an amazing sponsor for Ron and Hope Unfiltered. So back to understanding men. I don't think there's a book you can read. I don't think there's, like, if you do the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, we're going to give you in 30 minutes how to understand men. No. Yeah. But I think, like we said earlier, Danielle, it's that you need to want to.
Right. Right.
That you should have an open heart and an open head to say, yeah, God made us different.
Yeah.
And we're different on purpose.
Yes. And for good reason.
Yeah, I have everything that he doesn't have because God took me out of him.
Right.
So everything that he needs is in me, and everything that I need is in him.
Right.
So we have each other's back. We have each other's blind spots. And I think if you look at it that way, it helps it to be a little more palatable when you hit those differences. Right. Now, I was asking you earlier when we were talking about this, what would you say a biggie is? A difference? A biggie?
A biggie?
A biggie. A difference in men.
Okay. Well, there's lots.
Yeah.
There's lots. But I would say another one is the way that a man relates to his needs compared to the way a woman relates to her needs. Because for a man, his needs are critical and urgent. They're direct and immediate. If he needs something, he doesn't put it on his birthday list or wait till next Christmas like a woman would.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my bra is tattered and ripped. Oh, no, the kids need other things. I'm going to put that on my list, but I'm not going to get my need met. Because the way that we relate to our needs is self-sacrificing. We're going to take care of everybody else first, make sure the house is taken care of, the staff is taken care of, the children are taken care of, and I come last.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing. Okay?
Right.
But for a man, and I think we can learn this from men, like if Steve is hungry, he eats now.
Yeah.
He doesn't wait till dinner. He'll go get in the pantry and I'll be like, no, I'm making dinner.
I know. Right? I'm like, please don't ruin the dinner that I'm over here making.
Right. But his needs are direct and immediate. So, and like for us, because we're so self-sacrificing, a lot of times it turns us into that drama queen, or there are some other explicit words we could say that people call women when they're cranky. Right? Because we're not getting our needs met. And I think that's just something that we need to understand. We relate differently to needs. But women will think men are selfish. They're selfish for getting their needs met. And I think
that's so key.
If a man, he'll say, I can't be present or meet your need until I've eaten, or until I've taken a nap, or until I've got the sports update.
Or I want to hurry up and go, I want to go work out. And you're sitting here saying, but I want to work out.
Right. But we'll put ourselves last.
Yeah.
Right. But men are like, no, this is what I need. And then I can be more available. I can be more present for you if I can get my need met. And I think for women, because we a lot of times put ourselves last, something that I was taught early on in my marriage is not to do that, take care of myself for me. Take care of myself for me so that I have the energy to nurture and serve and care and provide, for my family.
And you're not resentful.
Right. And I'm not exhausted and wiped out. I never get to exercise, never eat right, never take the time to get my nails done or get my hair done because everybody else has needs.
Yeah.
And I think we need to think enough of ourselves to get our needs met. Our needs are important too.
Yeah. One thing Ron and I had to tackle through the years was just actually being able to communicate that.
Yeah.
And I think we keep these things in our head and in our heart, but we never sit down like this.
Right. And we don't know how to express it.
Right.
Those thoughts
because
and
we
feelings.
think that they should know it.
Right. And that is
Shouldn't
such a
they
woman
know?
thing. That is such a woman thing. Doesn't he know I'm upset? Why isn't he asking me what's wrong? Number one, a man doesn't want to come to a woman if she's upset because he's like, oh, no, I'm in trouble.
No, I'm running.
He's
I'm going to the garage.
Going to my cave. Go into my cave. But I did a little experiment one time. I thought, I am not going to initiate anything to do with Steve, like any time together. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait and let him initiate doing something
And let's
together.
see when it happens. Yeah.
And I think 2 months went by, and I went, oh, well, he never initiated anything. And I realized, oh, maybe that's my role. Because whenever I initiate, let's go do he's always up for it.
Yeah.
But if he's
He doesn't think about
preoccupied
it.
with something else, but I'm playing this game, and it's like, that was dumb. And who suffered? Me.
Yeah.
But whenever I say, hey, what do you think about, and not that he never initiates, but there was just that time, and he was very focused, very single focused. I think we had just started our church or something. And so he was busy and he was preoccupied. So it wasn't really fair to him that I was doing this without him even knowing about it because he wants to spend time with me.
Right.
But I think women a lot of times do those kinds of things to kind of manipulate men into, he should just know that I want to hang out. He should just know that I'm upset. He should be a mind reader.
Yeah.
And men are not mind readers.
No.
They're very literal.
Yeah.
You want him to know something? Tell
it.
him. Be specific in as few words as possible.
Now that's huge.
That's key, right?
Yes, as few words and not high emotions.
Right.
Don't come at it. See, what did that make you feel right there just listening when we raised our octaves?
Yes.
And we got our tension all up. And that's exactly how they feel too.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes you get to that point.
Right.
Because you've kept it in so
That's
long.
right. That's right.
And you're so bitter, you're so resentful at this point that it just comes out like gushing hot water.
Right.
So to save yourself from that trauma and to save him and everybody in the home, you have to have times where you have conversations that aren't just sitting around talking about the kids. I'm talking about on point.
Yes.
These are my feelings. These are my needs. These are what I expect.
Right.
This is what I need from you.
Right.
And
right.
it
That's
makes
good.
people feel weird sometimes to have to sit down and say that because you really do want them to know.
Right. So when you have something that you need to tell your man, your husband, your boyfriend, wherever you're at in your life, this is what I would suggest. Say to them, I need to talk to you. You're not in trouble. Everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Because men, generally speaking, always think when a woman needs to talk to them, they're in
Something's
trouble.
wrong. Yeah.
They're in trouble. So if you don't say you're not in trouble, he's going to come to the conversation defensive.
Yeah.
Already like, okay, what she got from me? I know I'm already in trouble. He's going to want to defend himself. But if you just say, hey, I just need some time to talk. And then when you get the time, again, be specific. Don't put all the feeling and emotion in it, like you just said. Just be specific. Tell him what it is you need and tell him what it would provide for you if he can meet that need.
Yeah.
If he can help you in whatever way. I need this. This is what it will provide for me.
Yeah.
And be just very, again, in as few words as possible. And because he'll be much more open to listening and to hearing you if you're unemotional. And it's not that you can't have emotion. It's not that you can't say how you feel. But I think for women too, we have to remember we are responsible for our feelings.
That's true.
They are not responsible.
No.
They're not responsible to make you happy.
No.
They don't. They hold themselves accountable though for your happiness. Men do.
Yeah.
They feel very accountable for their wife's happiness. In fact, they look at other men's wives and they go, "Oh my gosh, she is so happy," and they respect the man for that. Men respect men whose wives are happy.
Yeah.
They like give them the credit, like, more power to you, dude.
Yeah.
That's a respectable thing for a man.
And they don't even know it's biblical.
Exactly.
We're their glory.
And
we're the man's glory.
And they're designed that way. They want to meet our needs. But so many times women withhold information they need to meet our needs because we think, well, he should just know.
Yeah.
We go back to, why doesn't he know? Oh, see how insensitive he is to me? Doesn't he know I'm not speaking to him? Not if you didn't tell him.
Right.
You weren't speaking
and,
to
you know,
him.
that's not even biblical on our part.
Yeah.
You know, love believes the best.
That's right. That's right.
We hope
Absolutely.
that love hopes the best. It believes the best. I should look at my husband and say, he doesn't know.
Right. So
Because I
I'm gonna-
haven't told him. Instead
That's
of
right.
assuming, oh, he knows and he's just not giving it to me.
Right.
He
On
just doesn't want,
purpose.
he just wants me to be miserable.
Yeah. You know, I talked to a young man, married, and he was telling us about some issues with him and his wife at one point. And he said, she thinks that I purposely am trying to hurt her because I didn't put the Tupperware in the right cupboard. And I thought, and this was real for him. He goes, she thinks I'm doing it on purpose. A healthy man in general is never trying to hurt a woman. Now, I know there's some dysfunctional men out there that want to hurt women. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about normal, healthy men. They never want to hurt a woman's feelings. In fact, they do everything
Especially about
possible.
Tupperware.
Something so silly, right? But she had it in her mind, he's doing this on purpose.
Because it was important to her.
Yeah, and it wasn't important to him. And what happens when we think what's important to me isn't important to him? He's got issues.
Yeah.
He needs therapy. He wasn't raised right.
But we like our Tupperware second from the bottom. Come on now.
Right.
You can't get this little thing right.
Yeah.
The Tupperware.
Yeah.
And again, you didn't have to call the police.
Right.
You didn't have to call the pastor. No, the
A
house is
doctor,
not burning down.
a lawyer, a
No.
fireman.
Let it go.
Exactly.
Let it go.
And in that one particular situation, as it turns out, one of the kids had moved the Tupperware from where the husband had put it. And she was blaming the husband for
Wow.
it. Isn't that sad? And I just think if we can understand how men are wired,
Yes.
then we can have so much more
Grace.
compassion for
And
them
grace.
and grace. And it's going to better your relationships with all the men in your life. Your dads, your brothers,
Yes.
your coworkers, your employers, your employees, your sons. But we have to strive to want to understand.
Absolutely.
And not push back because it's something you don't like to hear, lady.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it used to aggravate me so bad. This is so stupid that Ron would open the refrigerator and just stand there
I know what
and
you're
say, "Where's the mayonnaise?" But hasn't moved a thing.
No, they don't
hasn't
move.
touched a thing.
Nope.
Hasn't investigated, but just opens it and stands and
Right.
says, "Where's the
Exactly.
mayonnaise?" I mean, literally, probably 20
Oh,
years.
yeah.
It aggravated me so bad. We've been married 33, the last 13. I finally said, you know what? Everything in the refrigerator is going to have a place because he doesn't know where things go.
Yeah.
And he doesn't investigate. So I'm
Right.
going to make it easy on him
Right.
and me.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
mayonnaise, ketchup, and mustard all go here.
Right.
On this shelf.
Every time.
Every single time. So, you know, I just nipped that in the bud.
Right. That's so great.
Because I
Yeah.
understood
Yeah.
his nature.
Right.
And that he wasn't going to do
He's
it.
single focused.
Yep.
All he sees is the front row.
Yeah.
And if the mayonnaise is in the front row, it's not there. Steve does the same thing. I'll go second shelf behind the milk.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I have that scan vision. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
And I just tell him, and I'm like, "Did you move anything when you were looking?" He goes,
No.
"Oh no." I'm like,
No.
"Okay, that's why you didn't find it."
Right.
And again, it doesn't mean they're bad.
No.
Doesn't mean they're retarded.
These aren't marriage busters.
No, this is just a man, the way his brain is set up and the way a woman's brain is set up. We're just different, and that's okay. Differences are okay.
Absolutely. What about in sex? How are we different?
Oh my gosh. you want to get me started on that? Okay.
Let's go all day, huh?
Yes, yes. Well, as you all know, for number one, men have way more testosterone
Yes.
than women ever
And
will.
it's a joke. I'm really going to talk to God about that. That is not fair. If he created us to have sex,
Yeah.
and he clearly did,
Yes.
by the dynamics of our body,
Yes.
why did he give them all the testosterone
Yeah.
and that we don't have it?
Right. I know.
It's not
know.
fair.
Our hormones are set up so completely different.
Yes.
So completely different. And, I guess that the mandate to, reproduce and multiply and fill the earth.
Right.
Men had to have a lot of testosterone to do that.
Yeah.
Right? But that's one of the biggest differences. So his sex drive, of course, is going to be way stronger than a woman's unless he is under stress for a long period of time. That will diminish his sex drive. Or sick, or not eating right, or exhausted, or stressed out. So that's one of the biggest differences. And what I always tell women is because of that testosterone thing, women think men are dirty, nasty, perverted horn dogs.
Right.
Okay? And that is not fair, ladies. They can't help it. Their testosterone is
God
what drives
gave it
them.
to 'em.
That's right. And you know what? It's okay. It's not a bad thing. And so, okay, so another reel that I did that got millions of plays and lots of interaction, I said, my daughter-in-law we were talking, and she said, so what happens when you're just too tired for sex? Because it's usually the women that are too tired.
Yes.
Rarely is it the man, right? Because of his testosterone levels.
Right.
And I said, well, it's kind of like this. I compare it to going to the gym. A lot of times we don't want to go to the gym. We get up in the morning like, ugh, I don't want to go. But you make yourself, you discipline yourself,
and you
go,
feel better afterward.
and you never regret it. You never walk out of the gym going, darn, I wish I didn't come to the gym. No, you got those endorphins and you're feeling good. I'm so glad I didn't give in to what I wanted to do, stay in bed, and I went. So I thought, what if we just looked at sex like that? I'm not in the mood. I'm tired.
I know
don't
it's
want
good
to.
for me.
I know it's good for me.
the marriage.
I know he'll be so happy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead because afterwards, look, there's a big payoff for everybody. Like he feels great, you feel great. Even if, and I don't know, is this okay to talk about? Can I say it?
Yeah,
okay.
it's real raw and
real raw
relevant.
and unfiltered.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Go.
Even if the woman doesn't get an orgasm, because when I posted that, then I get all the comments from women.
Yeah,
What if it's not great for me? What if I don't get a payoff at the end? Okay, but what would be wrong with doing, I call it, like a drive-through fast food session rather than fine dining?
Yeah.
Right? So you do a quickie for him. Let him get off. Let him be pleasured. For the man you love, what's wrong with doing that?
Right.
Like women, I won't make it too personal. Women don't have to have an orgasm every single time. I'm not saying we don't want one.
Right.
But for
emotionally
a man,
and physically, we don't.
Like for a man to be stimulated in a length of time and then not get that release.
He has to.
That's painful.
Right.
In the physical. For a woman, it's not. Right? So
and we enjoy the closeness.
Exactly. And the touch and
that's hard for a man to understand sometimes.
Right.
But sometimes we enjoy just that intimacy of being together physically.
Right. And I like to tell men that if for a woman, because I guess her feelings are very important to her, ask her in the evening, so what is it you want to feel tonight?
Yeah.
What is it that you want? And it could be anything from I need a screaming orgasm to, I just want you to touch me and caress me and massage my body like it is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
Right.
And find out, like, for men,
or it could be just cover me when you're finished.
Oh, it could be, pull my pants over.
I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed. Well, that's always been a joke with me and my husband, too.
Right.
But yeah, like, find out what a woman needs to feel, and if you can make that happen for her, because, guys, you're going to get yours.
Yeah.
Men rarely leave the bed without getting satisfied.
Right.
And so even for a woman, I don't think, and again, ladies, don't get mad at me. And men, don't go say, hey, that lady on the podcast said you don't need an orgasm.
Oh,
you're going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, they'll hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that through social media too, how people twist your words. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But Danielle, the few things we've talked about today, there's never enough time.
I know.
But I'm having you back next week, remember?
Okay, yes.
So, but the bottom line is, it's getting your feelings and your emotions out of it and standing back and saying, I'm going to give up my right to be right.
Right. So good.
I want to seek to understand.
Right.
I want to open the lines of communication on whatever area it is, whether it's your sexual needs, your communication, how you hear, I love you, whatever it is. It is being willing to sit down and stop assuming and stop judging and harboring bitterness and withholding and all the games we play in marriage when this is the number one relationship that you will ever have.
Yes.
It's more important than your children. It's more important than your friends.
That's right.
It's more important than your parents.
Right.
Under God, it is the number one relationship. I want mine to be good.
Yeah, you've got to guard it, protect it, nurture it, and you have to talk.
Yeah.
You have to have conversation. Your relationship is only as good as your communication.
It is.
So take the time, find a way to communicate. You know, some people I know that aren't real verbal, or they can't really express themselves. They don't have the words. Like some people just
They
don't
lock
have
down.
the words. But those people are really good, generally are good at writing.
Yeah.
Right? So the people who can't speak write.
Yeah.
Right? Usually authors don't make great speakers, and great speakers don't make
Yeah.
great authors. So I've always told people, like, can you send it in a text?
Yeah.
Can you send it in an email?
Or write
Can you
it
write
out.
it in a card?
And then just say, you read it, and I'm sitting
Yes.
right here. This is everything I want to say.
Yes. And that means you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But we've got to practice vulnerability, because the only way to connect is if we're vulnerable, meaning unzipping yourself and saying, this is me.
Yeah, this is
all
the
of me,
truth.
the
This is
good,
the truth.
the bad, and the annoying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and if both people are willing to make themselves vulnerable, that makes for an awesome, intimate connection.
It does.
Yeah.
And even outside of marriage, in friendship.
Absolutely.
Any relationship, if you will employ these and understand, you did not marry an identical twin.
Right. For a good reason. We'd be bored to death.
Right. You did not marry you.
Yeah.
You married an individual. You're dating someone totally different than you. There's nobody like you.
That's
God
right.
made you so unique and so special, and he made those other people unique and special. And we have to learn to value that.
Right.
We have to honor
Yes.
that.
Yes.
We have to prefer that.
Yes.
And we have to give up our right to be right
Yeah.
in relationships many times for the good of the relationship.
If you want to stay married.
Yeah. Because you'll never get everything you want.
That's right. Of course. Because there is no perfect people.
No.
There's no perfect. I'm not perfect.
No.
My husband isn't perfect. We're perfect for each other with all our imperfections.
Yes.
Right? But that's why there's so much conflict, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
You know, in any relationship, is because we're different from one another. And especially between men and women, because we are so different. So
God made
That's
different.
right. So we have to learn to acknowledge the differences, accept them, and appreciate them.
Yeah.
Appreciate the difference.
Absolutely. Well, it's been awesome. Listen, we do marriage conferences every year, every February. This year it's going to be on the East Coast. 2024 will be in Greenville, South Carolina. Go to roncarpenter.com. You can get registered for that. It's called Help, I'm Married.
I love that. I love it.
And we would love to have you there. And I know Daniele has so much great, rich content. You got to go follow her on Instagram, follow her reels. So much that she can offer you on there. And we're glad that you tuned in today. We hope we helped you. We hope we didn't tick you off. Sure we did, because, nobody, first the truth offends you. And then once you sit down a minute and chew it and embrace it, it can help you. The truth
That's good.
that can help you will always offend you first.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Yeah.
Because it rubs up against everything we believe that's
right.
true.
That we've been taught
Yeah.
differently, that our culture maybe has taught us about the opposite sex that may just not be true.
It's true. Well, thank you so much for being here. We love you so much. Until next time, it's Ron and Hope. Well, Ron and Hope and Daniele. Unfiltered, real, raw, and relevant.